Mercedes is having its most challenging season in the turbo hybrid era, with porpoising issues preventing it from running the W13 in the configuration it was built for. The team's early issues have already put it on the back foot in the championship, and it knows it needs a speedy turnaround if it is to compete with Ferrari and Red Bull this year, following an evolving staffing structure at the team, which has included the departure of engine chief Andy Cowell in recent years and its technical director James Allison stepping into a new role. There have been suggestions that the team's dip in form could be linked to a loss of input from key minds. However, team principal Toto Wolff disagrees, believing that any staff changes experienced by Mercedes are part of the normal turnover observed by all teams. It's just the normal cycle. Ross Brawn left, then Paddy Lowe left. We won 6 championships after that. Or 7. Then James Allison came in, and there's a lot of others who aren't front and center. Then Andy Cowell retired. But meanwhile, all the young guys are coming up, and they've been the decision makers at the operational level time and time again. As far as the cars in the last few years are concerned, we haven't lost anyone where I think to myself today, that was really counterproductive. It's just the normal rate of change. While Mercedes may not have some of its old experience heads on hand, Wolff believes the team's current injection of youth is a significant positive. When I walk around our campus, the thing that pleases me the most is that most people are very young and highly educated, motivated, and don't want to leave things the way they are today. That puts me in a positive frame of mind. I couldn't imagine anyone better in the team than the squad I have around me, and I'm not just saying that lightly. It's what I really believe. Mercedes championship prospects look to be waning due to the big performance gap between its car and the frontrunners. But Wolff isn't ready to give up on the titles just yet. I don't want to say goodbye to the thought. What I love about this sport is that not everything always follows the maths. The races can be completely different. You see how fast it goes between being first and second on the track and being eliminated in the next race. In this respect, the gap we're now opening up is certainly difficult to make up. But if we manage to put this car reasonably straight on the track, then we'll be among the front runners with this car, as grim as that may look today. While Russell finished 4th for Mercedes in the wet-dry race at Imola, Hamilton was unable to gain a point, prompting Wolff to apologize over the radio. However, with the improvements recently announced, Wolff has laid out a clear plan of attack for the defending 8-time Constructors World Champions as they head to Miami. It was a very difficult weekend for us in Imola. George did a great job to finish P4 from an unpromising starting position, but with Lewis, we didn't give him the tools or track position to show his true pace. Since we returned from Italy, we've learned as much from the weekend as we can, and in parallel, our learning has continued in the wind tunnel and simulations. We have found several directions for improving the car, and we will be conducting experiments in Miami to correlate those simulations, and hopefully confirm the development path for the coming races. The obstacles, according to Wolff, have ignited a fire of desire at Mercedes, and the new Miami International Autodrome presents an exciting challenge. Both drivers have been working in the simulator ahead of Miami, and the factories have been busy producing updates for the next races. The saying, "smooth seas do not make good sailors," comes to mind. The team has shown its resilience over many years, and the difficult start to this season has lit a fire within every team member, determined to put it right. Miami is an exciting new challenge and a complete step into the unknown. The track looks demanding, with a real mix of low and high-speed corners, and it's set to be a spectacular showcase for the sport to our growing US fanbase. So, we're set for a fantastic event, and we can't wait to see how it all plays out. The Miami Grand Prix, though, is not only a track that might surprise teams and drivers, but also Pirelli, F1's sole tyre supplier. Pirelli has chosen the C2, C3 and C4 tyres for the Miami weekend, while neglecting the toughest and softest tyres available. Pirelli F1 CEO Mario Isola called the decision cautious, but one that had to be made due to concerns over the surface in Miami. It's a conservative choice of tyres, obviously, but we believe is the best option for Miami. It's a bit of an unknown for everybody. It's a street circuit, so there are characteristics of the track that are usually different from any other track. I'm quite excited to go there and see what happens. According to Isola, the Miami Grand Prix weekend is critical for Pirelli, as they aim to expand further in the US market, putting further pressure on their tyre decision. Miami is important for us because the United States is a very good market for Pirelli. We're planning to activate this event with the local market, providing more than what we have done in the past. I'm happy to go to Miami, and that's a good boost for Formula One in the United States. Miami is a major race for F1, as the sport tries to break into the thriving American market, and Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton believes Formula One is here to stay in the United States after capturing the attention of American sports fans for the first time in more than 60 years, when F1 holds its first race in Florida in more than 60 years. The track is one of 3 in the United States with an F1 contract, with a race in Las Vegas slated to join the calendar in 2023, the Miami Grand Prix, which will be held on a temporary circuit on the site of the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, has received over 250,000 registrations. Hamilton first requested that F1 hold the race in Miami in 2017, stating that the event was at the top of his bucket list. It's been nerve-wracking because it's going to be huge, such a huge event for us. We obviously have the race in Austin, Texas, which has always been amazing. The first race I had out here was Indianapolis in 2007, but now, with the Netflix series Drive to Survive growing, we have 2 Grand Prix in the States, and then we have another one in Vegas next year. It's going to be huge. Hamilton burst into the US market a few years ago, owing to his close contacts with some of the world's top showbiz figures. However, it is because of Drive to Survive that the likes of Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris have seen their careers in the United States rise. When asked if he believes F1 is here to stay in the American market, Hamilton responded, "I think so, yeah. I've been coming out here for a long time. But I never quite understood why people weren't into Formula 1. Everyone knew NASCAR. And obviously, you've got such huge sports fans out here. But as I said, the Netflix show, particularly through the pandemic, has just brought massive awareness to the sport, and now it's booming." However, Hamilton may not be as thrilled on race day, with his youthful teammate George Russell determined to capture the crown, and hence the team's #1 spot. Despite Mercedes' problems, Russell is the only driver to have finished in the top 5 positions in every race this season, including his maiden podium with the team in Australia, and he leads Hamilton by 49 points. In an interview with the media, 5-time Grand Prix winner John Watson praised Russell's performance in 2022. Russell has not only impressed Watson with his accomplishments on the track, but also with how the 24-year-old conducts himself off it. "I think you can't state highly enough what he has done in the first 4 races. I think the way he's conducted himself within the team and within the media. He's not standing in the front and taking the limelight. He's respecting Lewis's legacy. At the same time, he's doing an absolutely blinding job. And his drive at Imola on Sunday was an outstanding drive." Hamilton spent the bulk of the race trailing Pierre Gasly's AlphaTauri, with overtaking difficult even when the drag reduction system was deployed midway through. Had the circumstances been the other way round, would George have done a better job than Lewis behind Gasly or not? I suspect probably not. George had a very good first lap and gained positions, and found himself in a much easier situation than Lewis. Lewis found himself bogged down in the middle of cars. He's got cars around him, behind him, on top of him. If that had been in last year's car, as we saw in the sprint race in Brazil, he would have picked them off, but he's not on that car. He hasn't got that advantage over his competitors that he had in 2021. Mercedes will be hoping for a turnaround in Miami, but it is unclear whether the team will be able to cure their porpoising issues at all. What are your thoughts on Mercedes' brain drain in recent years? Has it had an effect on their 2022 car? Or is it part of a team's natural evolution, as Toto Wolff claims? What are your predictions for Miami? Do you think Mercedes will be able to compete for the win? We'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos.